We have a brutal injury update as Alex Newhook is now going to be out 10 to 12 weeks until February or March with a high ankle sprain. But not only that, amidst all this, Juraj Slafkovsky gets demoted while the guy ahead of him in the lineup is out with an injury. We're breaking down all of that on this episode of Habs Digest. So we're just going to jump straight into Alex Newhook. Look, the tweet I'm going to show says worst case scenario. As Arber Basu tweets, Canadiens announce Alex Newhook will be out 10 to 12 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Worst case scenario. But I disagree. I think a worst case scenario would have been something similar to Kirby Dach, right? We saw the ankle bend, in fact, twice that game. Once when he got slew-footed unintentionally, that went uncalled in the game, and then he got injured. He came back to the bench, and then he went out and he fell, and his skate got caught in the net as he slid, and it twisted his left ankle. Did I hope it was a little shorter? Did I hope it was maybe like a 3 to 4 week ankle sprain? Yes, absolutely. But you never know with these kind of things. When your legs get all bent up, going the wrong ways, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that Kirby Dach injury, when Jared Tenorti put him into the bench, that looked about as safe as you can imagine, as harmless as you can imagine, right? You didn't think he was going to be out. Oh, maybe if he got hurt, they're coming up laboring, maybe he'd be out a couple weeks. No, and he was out for the season. He tore pretty much everything in his knee. And with Alex Newhook, you saw him go down, you saw his leg bend the wrong way. You never know what's going to go wrong with the ligaments in there, the muscles, but it's just a high ankle sprain. And while that is really, really bad, obviously it makes it impossible to play hockey. 10 to 12 weeks during this season is not that bad, I suppose. I don't know. I'm trying to be positive like we always do at this channel, right? Would it have surprised many of you to hear Alex Newhook would be out for the season after that with an injury to his knee because his leg bent the wrong way? No, it wouldn't have completely shocked me. But at the same time, this is terrible because Alex Newhook has been playing out of his mind recently, and he is probably my favorite Hab, of course, fellow Newfoundlander. I love Alex Newhook. I mean, this guy has just been proving himself over and over and over again. Look, him and Kirby Dach, the Habs' two biggest reclamation projects, are both out with huge injuries, and it just puts a damper on the team. When you have a guy who's rolling, you have a guy who's smiling, a guy who is going above and beyond his expectations. And then for him to just go out with an injury like that, it's so very Habs, isn't it? To hear this kind of news. And it just hurts. It just hurts to know that Alex Newhook is not going to be able to continue this hot streak. He was playing so well with Nick Suzuki and Brendan Gallagher on the other wing. And it's tough because he actually just got promoted to the first power play as well. I mean, we saw Josh Anderson was struggling on the first power play, as we know. I mean, he's not a great power play guy, but they're trying to get him going. But Alex Newhook took over that role against the Florida Panthers, and not anymore. So 10 to 12 weeks, and that throws a little bit of a wrench into the Habs lineup, which I'm going to show you right now. And it's not something I personally like. I don't know what you guys think of it, but the general reaction from me, the Habs community, certainly seems to be that they don't like these lines. So with Alex Newhook going out, here are the trios at practice. Cole Caufield, Nick Suzuki, Sean Monahan. Okay. Gallagher, Dvorak, Anderson is the second line. Pearson, Evans, Slafkovsky on the third. Armia, Mitchell Stevens, and Jesse Ylönen on the fourth. Gustav Lindstrom continues to get top pairing defenseman minutes. I'm not really sure what's going on D, but Guhle Barron, I guess you can't really split it up. Matheson's good, whatever. Look, I saw this, and my first reaction was, oh, cool, Caufield, Suzuki, Monahan. And then I went to the second line, and I almost threw up. It's just, I don't understand. Right, I don't understand why Slafkovsky, who's in the midst of the best stretch of his career, gets his line just changed. And not only that, he gets demoted while you continue playing Gallagher and Anderson. But here, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. First thing, maybe these are just the lines in practice, and if the Slafkovsky, Evans, Pearson line does well, they'll play a bit more than the Gallagher, Dvorak, Anderson line. I don't think that's actually the case, but I'm trying to convince myself. Or maybe this is all right, Slav, you're playing really well. Here's a test. Can you elevate this line? Again, not a strategy I particularly like, but it's not just me. Hockey Junkies, a lot of you guys know, he tweeted a GIF along with this that I didn't want to show. Some vomit. What has Slafkovsky done to deserve this? Kind of my thought too. And Marco D'Amico tweets out, here are the lines at Canadiens practice. Just an observation, but Ylönen and Slafkovsky both in the bottom six, while Anderson and Gallagher continue to get prime usage, may send the wrong message. And I kind of agree. And again, look, I'm not a coach. I'm not here saying what I say here at Habs Digest is representative of what the Habs should do. I'm not here saying, Coach Marty, you are absolutely wrong and terrible. No, because I'm sure there are reasons for this, right? There are many things that go on behind the scenes and in practice that we don't know about, right? We're not privy to. But Regardless, Juraj Slafkovsky is in the midst of the best stretch of his career. Here is a little thing showing how many games. 8 games. His last 8 games. You see that? Assist. So 1, 4, 5 points in his last 8 games. Before that, it was 5 and 7. It was actually 4 points in 5 games if you go from that Boston stretch right to Columbus. He has been playing phenomenally, and look at that ice time. 14, 13, 15, 19, 44 against the San Jose Sharks, which was the best game of his professional career, in my opinion. And he is just doing all this again at 19 years old. But then, he's developing chemistry with Cole Caufield and Christian Dvorak, and it's starting to work well, especially Caufield. And then Newhook gets hurt, and you're like, okay, look, here's the thing about this. I understand you wanting to move Caufield away from Slav in favor of putting him on the first line. Okay, fair enough. That's fair. But you just had Josh Anderson on the third line, right? You can, fair enough to bring Monahan up to the top line as well. But if you're going to do this, why not run with Gallagher and Slav? I understand too, the wings are weird and whatever, but it's just, I can't wrap my head around why Slafkovsky now needs to play with Evans and Pearson. We've had Monahan playing with Pearson and Gallagher through a good chunk of this season until Gallagher got boosted to the first line. We've had Monahan showing that he has good chemistry with Tanner Pearson. We've seen Slafkovsky and Evans before, but it was last year on the fourth line for a good chunk of the year, and it just didn't work. There was no chemistry really there between Evans and Slafkovsky. Now, do I hope it's changed? Do I hope that maybe Slafkovsky can start to drive offense on that line? Absolutely. And actually, Tanner Pearson has looked quite good so far for the Montreal Canadiens. His point production hasn't been there recently, but he's been a solid player in every single game. So maybe we'll see some Slav and Pearson chemistry. It wouldn't shock me to see them playing Detroit tonight, to see Slafkovsky and Pearson really show some chemistry. And I'm hoping for that. I really am. But at the same time, I can't understand why Gallagher and Anderson continue to get these top 6 minutes while Slav, who is proving that he's deserving of his spot in the lineup where he's been playing the second line, he's developing well with the line mates he had, while he now has to go down and play with Evans and Pearson. Again, I'm sure there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes I don't mean that Slav did something wrong or whatever. No, I just mean that there's decisions, right? The higher ups and managements, the coaches, they all come together and say, this is what we think. But here's my other thing. I think there could be something positive about this. I haven't looked at Twitter yet. I haven't but I haven't looked at what the power play lines are. I'm not sure if those have been released yet, tweeted out, whatever. Maybe they haven't started doing them in practice yet. What I'm hoping for is that, maybe if it does get dropped, I'll pin a comment or something. But what I'm hoping for is that we see Slav on that first power play, right? Anderson was not working on the first power play at all. Newhook goes up, and he's looking pretty good. Of course, Newhook was the guy who was bringing it up, like the Suzuki role on the second power play, but they said, no, you know what, you deserve the first power play because you deserve it. But now, with that left-hand shot Newhook out, why don't we see Slav there? Why don't we finally see Slav on that first power play with Suzuki, Caufield, Monahan, and Matheson? I think this is the perfect opportunity. I don't think you'll ever get a better opportunity for something like this. Alex Newhook gets injured. It's awful. But this is the time where you need to see, okay, Slav, can you step up even more in the absence of one of your teammates? There's a lot of question marks going around the Montreal Canadiens organization now. The injuries just keep piling on. I mean, it's starting to turn into last year again. Dach out for the season. Newhook out 10 to 12 weeks. Of course, we still have Harris hurt. We still have, Xhekaj's been at practice, but he's not back yet. RHP is injured. Wideman, you forgot he was on the team, didn't you? But still, there's a lot of injuries and guys I forgot even to mention, I'm sure, that are going on. So, hope it all works out for the best. I hope Newhook has a faster than expected recovery, and I really hope we see Slafkovsky get more minutes than that are implied by these lines. But that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate every single one of you for all your support. I've been your host, Josh Gosse. I'll catch you in the next one.